going to start the mediastinum. So you can see the mediastinum is mainly it's nothing but the middle space in between both right and left lungs, and it is mainly present in the thoracic cavity, right in the middle of thoracic cavity, and it includes the mediastinal pleura. So mediastinal pleura is nothing but the pleura which is covering this medial side of the lung, either on right side or left side. So that is called as mediastinal pleura. Now let us see what are the boundaries to the mediastinum. So actually this is called as this space is called as mediastinum. So anterior to the mediastinum you will find first the sternum. You can see this is the sternum, and next you will posteriorly will find of course the thoracic vertebral column, and superiorly you will see the thoracic inlet, right? This is superiorly you will see the thoracic inlet, and inferiorly of course we will see the diaphragm. So these are the boundaries of the mediastinum, and on each side also you will see the mediastinal pleura, that is this side, and even on that side you will see the mediastinal pleura. So these are the boundaries of mediastinum. Now we will see the proper mediastinum, how it is divided. So the mediastinum is divided into superior mediastinum and inferior mediastinum, and the inferior mediastinum is in turn subdivided into anterior mediastinum, that is before the pericardium, and middle mediastinum where the pericardium and heart lies, and the posterior mediastinum where it is back to the pericardium. So this is the three subtypes of the inferior mediastinum. So this superior mediastinum and inferior mediastinum, these both are separated mainly by means of an imaginary plane, and that imaginary plane is passing anteriorly from the manubrium sternal joint, that is the sternal angle, to the lower border of the T4 vertebra posteriorly. So this is an imaginary line which is dividing the superior mediastinum with the inferior mediastinum. So remember that this mediastinum is mainly, that is especially the inferior mediastinum is subdivided mainly on the basis of pericardium and the heart, especially mainly on basis of pericardium. Now we will see somewhat the details of the superior mediastinum. So superior mediastinum, of course, if you see anteriorly you will have the sternal angle, and posteriorly you will have the upper fourth thorax, that is T1 to T4 vertebra of thoracic vertebra, and superiorly you will have the pleura of thoracic inlet, or you can say suprapleural membrane also may be here, and inferiorly of course you will have the sternum, the line between the sternum and the T4 vertebra, this line is inferior, and on sides of course this side and that side you will have the mediastinal pleura. So what are the contents, means what are the substances which are present in the superior mediastinum, that is very important. So the main contents which are found in the superior mediastinum are anterior, we have the trachea. So you can see this is the trachea which will be present in superior mediastinum. Next of course esophagus, so remember like windpipe, food pipe, and sternohyoid, sternothyroid muscles. These are also these are also the structures which are present in the inlet of thorax, the sternothyroid, sternohyoid, and also of course you will have the longest colli lower end. So these are all the muscles, and you will have the arch of aorta. So you can see this is the arch of aorta, and next you will also have the bronchocephalic artery. In this diagram it's not shown, but here you can see this is a bronchocephalic artery. So this is also one of the content of superior mediastinum. And next we will have the left common carotid artery and left subclavian artery. So these are also here only, left common carotid artery and also left subclavian artery. So these are all the contents of superior mediastinum. And the left subclavian artery, next coming to right and left bronchocephalic veins. So right and left bronchocephalic vein. So you can see this is the left bronchocephalic vein, this is the right bronchocephalic vein. So these are all the vessels which are present, and you will have superior vena cava in the upper half. So in the upper half you will have the superior vena cava, and next you will have the vagus, phrenic and cardiac nerves of both sides. So you can check out the vagus, phrenic nerve. They are not here, but you remember that the vagus, phrenic nerves and also the cardiac nerves on both sides. So here you can see the contents of mediastinum I wrote here. So right and left brachiocephalic, vagus, phrenic, cardiac nerves of both sides, left recurrent laryngeal nerve, and also you'll have the thymus, thoracic duct, lymph nodes, especially the paratracheal lymph nodes, brachiocephalic lymph nodes, and also tracheobronchial lymph nodes. So these are just the structures which you need to remember. Already I have shown this all these structures in our previous video, so I am not showing them again. Just you should remember them. The superior mediastinum condense. Try to make a mnemonic out of it and remember. Okay, next coming to the inferior mediastinum. So of course you know this is a inferior mediastinum. So our inferior mediastinum is further divided into anterior mediastinum, middle mediastinum, posterior mediastinum. So anterior mediastinum is narrow, it's in the front of pericardium, and it is mainly overlapped by thin anterior borders of lungs, and it is continuous through the superior mediastinum by means of pretracheal space of neck. So it will be continuous here with the superior mediastinum by means of this space. This is called as pretracheal space of neck. So let us see the boundaries. So anteriorly you will have the body of sternum, posteriorly you will have the pericardium, superiorly you will have the imaginary plane, and of course which is separating the superior mediastinum from inferior mediastinum, and inferiorly you will have the the superior surface of diaphragm, and on each side of course again you will have the mediastinal pleura. So what are the main contents which are passing in this anterior mediastinum? Mainly you will have the sternopericardial ligament from sternum to the pericardium, like that you can remember sternopericardial ligament, and also you have lymph nodes with lymphatics and small mediastinal branch of internal thoracic artery, lowest part of thymus, areolar tissue. So remember sternopericardial ligament, some lymph nodes and small mediastinal branch of internal thoracic artery. So internal thoracic artery is one of the content of anterior mediastinum, and also you'll have the lowest part of thymus. The thymus lowest part is also seen here, and also some areolar tissue. So now we'll come to the middle mediastinum. It is mainly occupied by the pericardium and the contents along with phrenic nerves, pericardiophenic vessels, all those. And the boundaries you can see, of course anteriorly you have the sternopericardial ligament of the anterior mediastinum, and posteriorly you will have the esophagus or the superior posterior mediastinum, and descending thoracic aorta, azygous vein, all these structures are present posteriorly. So remember, posteriorly there are esophagus, descending thoracic aorta, azygous vein, and on each side you will have the mediastinal pleura. So now we'll check out what are the contents, main contents of middle mediastinum. Of course the heart is enclosed in pericardium, and there are different arteries like ascending aorta, pulmonary trunk, two pulmonary arteries, and also veins like lower half of superior vena cava, terminal part of azygous vein, right and left pulmonary veins. So all the structures, if there are here, I will show you some structures present superior, middle and posterior. So you'll have pulmonary veins, you'll have esophagus, you'll have trachea, what else? Terminal part of azygous vein, right and left pulmonary veins, and we'll have the phrenic nerves, deep cardiac plexus, lymph nodes like tracheobronchial nodes, and tubes like bifurcation of trachea, right and left principal bronchi also will be present. So you can see this is the right and left principal bronchi, azygous vein you can see here, pulmonary veins. So these are all different structures, contents which are present in middle mediastinum. Now we'll talk somewhat about the posterior mediastinum. So this is a posterior mediastinum. So it's anteriorly it's having the pericardium, and also anteriorly it will have the bifurcation of trachea and pulmonary vessels, and posterior part of upper surface of diaphragm, posterior part of upper surface of diaphragm is also its anterior boundary. Of course posteriorly it will have the lower 8 thoracic vertebra intervening, that is intervertebral disc. On each side of course again the mediastinal pleura. So what are the contents? So here you can see what are the contents. So mainly you will have the esophagus in the case of posterior mediastinum, and anterior you have the descending thoracic aorta, and also you will have its branches of descending thoracic aorta, and you will have the azygous vein. So you can see azygous vein here, and also you will have the hemiazygous vein. This is not shown here, but remember hemiazygous vein is also present, and accessory hemiazygous vein, and nerves like vagus nerve is present, and splanchnic nerves are present. Splanchnic nerves, all splanchnic nerves like greater splanchnic nerve, lesser splanchnic nerve, least splanchnic nerve, everyone arise from the lower 8 thoracic ganglia of sympathetic chain. And even lymph nodes and lymphatics you can see here, like posterior mediastinal lymph nodes are lying alongside the aorta and thoracic duct. So lymph nodes and lymphatics are also present. So this is about the details, and next we'll move on to the clinical anatomy. So Clinical anatomy is actually we'll have a pretracheal fascia, and also we will have a prevertebral fascia. Here you can see. So why I'm showing them, because they are involved in clinical anatomy. Like the prevertebral layer or the fascia of the deep cervical fascia will extend to the superior mediastinum, and it is attached to the T4 vertebra inferior in the neck behind the fascia and pass to superior mediastinum but not lower down. So actually it will move into the superior mediastinum. You can see here attachment of prevertebral vertebra to T4, and from here it will somewhat attach to the, then see, to the superior mediastinum. So it will reach the superior mediastinum. And pretracheal fascia, you can see this is a pretracheal fascia. It is also in the neck, and it's external to the superior mediastinum and blends to the arch of aorta, neck inferior between pretracheal and prevertebral. Yeah, you can see it's like between the pretracheal and prevertebral fascia, right? And it's spread into the superior mediastinum, through it into the posterior mediastinum. So mediastinitis can result from infection in neck. So actually what they are saying, it's this pretracheal fascia will move from the superior mediastinum later into the posterior mediastinum. So if there is any inflammation in these layers, then it will result from the infection in neck. So any infection in neck may also reflect to the superior mediastinum and also posterior mediastinum. So that is the thing we need to remember by means of this prevertebral fascia and pretracheal fascia. So next we'll see very loose connective tissue is between the Mowley organs of mediastinum. You can see here the very loose connective tissue is between the mobile organs of mediastinum. Like the space can be divided by inflammatory fluids and also neoplasm. So actually there are some connective tissue fluids in between mediastinum. They can be affected by means of either cancerous growth like neoplasm or inflammatory fluids. So superior mediastinum are mainly having all large veins, especially on right side, and arteries are on the left side. So large veins are on right side, large arteries are on left side. So whenever there is highest blood flow, the veins expand enormously while arteries don't expand at all. So there's dead space on the right side, because on right side large amount of blood is present. So here the tumor or fluids of mediastinum may project. So what they mean to say is all large veins are on right side but on arteries on left side. So as all the veins are on right side, even whenever there is more blood flow, there will be pooling of blood on the right side, and because of this there is dead space on the right side. That is, pooling of blood means there is no gaseous, there is no exchange of blood to the tissues. So it is called the dead space on right side. So here there may be chance of formation of any tumor or any fluids may project into the mediastinum. So now posterior mediastinum is continuous to the superior mediastinum. So we know superior mediastinum is continuous to posterior mediastinum on the back side, with neck between pretracheal and prevertebral layers of cervical fascia. So region of neck include retropharyngeal space on each side of trachea, retropharyngeal space on each side of trachea. So this retropharyngeal space is present in trachea and also in the esophagus, and the space between the tubes and sheets are marked XX inferior, leading to fluid collection from these spaces spread to superior and posterior mediastina. So actually whenever there is any infection or fluid accumulation in pretracheal or prevertebral fascia, then it will reflect into either posterior mediastinum or also into the superior mediastinum. So compression of mediastinal structures by tumor give group of symptoms. So for example, if there is any tumor in the mediastinum, then what are the symptoms? Mainly you will see the mediastinal syndrome. So mediastinal syndrome is having all these common symptoms. What are those? Let us find out. First is the obstruction of superior vena cava give rise to engorgement of veins in upper half of body. So whenever there is a tumor in mediastinum, the superior vena cava will get engorged, and the veins in the especially because of obstruction of superior vena cava, the veins in the upper part of the body will get engorged, or they look like filled or fluffy. Whereas the pressure over the trachea causes dyspnea. On the trachea there is pressure, so there is less breathing, like difficult to breathe, and also cough may be present, and pressure on esophagus will call dysphagia. That is, it is very hard to swallow the food. and the pressure on left recurrent laryngeal nerve rise to hoarseness of voice or called as dysphonia. So whenever there is pressure on left recurrent laryngeal nerve, then there is hard in talking. The person will feel hard to talk. And the pressure on phrenic nerve causes paralysis of diaphragm on that side. So phrenic nerve pressure, then it will cause paralysis of diaphragm, especially on that side. And the pressure on intercostal nerve will lead to pain to that area which it supplies. So it is called intercostal neuralgia. And next also you have the pressure on vertebral column. So if there is any pressure on the vertebral column, there will be erosion of vertebral bodies. And the common cause of mediastinal syndrome is bronchogenic carcinoma. Like this kind of tumors will cause all these symptoms, and Hodgkin's disease cause enlargement of mediastinal lymph nodes and aneurysm or dilation of aorta. So these are all the problems which are caused whenever there is any tumor-like condition seen in the mediastinum. So you can check out all these diagrams to see what are the structures which are present on this prevertebral paratracheal fascia and carotid. So by this we completed mediastinum. Next we'll start the pericardium and heart.